different place just on this. You talked about engaging the bishops, and again, the bishop is the head of the congregation.
Mm-hmm.
Let me talk about his role, and he has 2 counselors that serve with him in the bishopric. And then the ward also has a stake young men's presidency. I think there's a point here that it would be good for both bishoprics to consider, and also for people trying to engage bishoprics. I found that there's 3 different ways you can translate the role of a bishopric into scouting language. There's a good, better, and best, right? The good level, which is often the default level, is that the bishop is the institutional head, and the counselors are chartered organization reps, right? Which are those are roles in scouting with not a lot of structure defined, right? But you have to have them in order to charter a unit, and so those are usually one place that they get chartered. A better definition, though, of what a bishopric's responsibility is to think about the the committee chair, right? Now, why would I say that? Well, the committee chair, one of their primary responsibilities is to choose who will be serving as the scoutmaster, right?
That's right.
Well, and the committee chair also has to have a responsibility for bringing together adults to support the youth program.
Right.
Well, the young men's presidency, they don't get to choose who's the scoutmaster. They get chosen by the bishopric. And the young men's presidency really doesn't, they have responsibility and authority over the young men, but they don't really have authority to call a meeting of the parents. That's where the bishopric, so even though, often in LDS units we call someone to be the committee chair, that person, in terms of the organization structure of the church, they're never going to have the same authority that the bishopric will have.
Right.
They may be able to do some administrative functions to take administrative functions off of the bishopric, but they're never going to be. So if a bishopric would get trained and think of themselves as a committee chair, that's a better definition. Now, do you want the best? The best definition is that when a ward young men's president goes to sit into what effectively is the senior patrol leader meeting. It's the Deacons Quorum presidency meeting. When that member of the young men's presidency goes and sits on that meeting, the young men's president does not preside at the meeting. The Deacons Quorum president presides at that meeting. It's very clear in our instruction. The only other person that can preside at that meeting is a member of the bishopric. When a member of the bishopric attends that meeting, he presides because the bishopric is the presidency of the Aaronic priesthood. So the best definition of a bishopric is to think of yourself as the scoutmaster, because they have responsibilities. They can give direct authority and responsibilities over their young men that the young men's presidency doesn't have. So if it's a bishopric, I know that's challenging. It's not like you don't have a lot on your plate. But if you want to understand your calling, don't focus so much on the charter organization rep, institutional head. Understand what it means to be the committee chair, but also understand what it means to be the scoutmaster, because you can function in both of those roles very effectively.
Right, and Kip actually discusses those very points in his dictionary that he came up with, and I do recommend that traditional scouters remember everything he just said, because then when you're trying to work with members of the stake, you see how best they should really go about things, and maybe you can help educate them a little bit, and then get more bang for your buck that way in terms of communicating, getting people trained, getting things done you needed done in the units, because you're going to the people that really have the authority then, and helping them understand what authority they have.
And helping them understand how to do their functions more effectively.
That's right.
Because the training is just so effective. That's
right. That's right. So see, again, speaking the same language, then we really know what it is we're actually talking about, and then where we need to get. And we see that, again, the people are already in place in the church. We just need to make sure they understand what their roles are.